And welcome back to the second quarter of action. And just as you joined us, Delvin McMillan gets across the goal line, extending the lead to 13-8.
What a hit. He went up on those side wheels. He was just about to go over. These chairs are so built so well. It takes a lot to knock a chair over, but it happens. And there's a great breakaway.
Nice pass there from Jamel Williams up to Bostic. Jamel Williams making his first appearance, and he quickly makes an impact.
And now we're within 4 points of one another again. We've been running kind of within a 3-4 point differential since the first quarter now.
And Bostic's giving chase to McMillan. I don't think he's going to catch him, and no, he won't. On the court for the yellow team right now, we have number 1, Jeremiah Butler, number 4, Jamel Williams, number 10, Sean Michau, and 00, Leon Bostic. Currently has the ball as he'll take a dribble. McMillan trying to lock up Butler and Bostic at the same time. Bostic making some moves, sends over the Butler, but the bounce.
That was a bad pass, Ben. He just passed to a high pointer, but it was he wasn't expecting the pass.
Let's go, Jamal.
For the red team have Lonnie Evans, McMillan, number 1, Earl Richardson, and Timothy Vixay, who is the only novice on the red team. The yellow team has 1 novice as well. I mean, it's their first National Veteran Wheelchair Games.
We had to take a timeout because one of the low pointers had the ball, and he was pinned in, and he couldn't get it to his high pointers.
Probably a smart call, though, as you said earlier. You don't really want your low pointers to be having the ball, and it's better to call a timeout than to have a turnover.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I can't emphasize turnovers kill. Turnovers just kill a team.
So 14-9 the score. I want to thank our sponsors for helping us put on this event, HealthNet Federal Services Incorporated. We're at the 29th Annual National Veteran Wheelchair Games here in Spokane, Washington. The first time the games have been in the state of Washington since 1996 when they were in Seattle. We have Ben Pearson. Alongside me is Gary Pearson, no relation, although both of us hail out of the Evergreen State on the west side. As we'll get set to get back to action here, as Lonnie Evans inbounds it. He gets it into Richardson. He's got McMillan ahead. He gets it to him.
Oh, that was a beautiful
nice
pass
hit.
to McMillan. Now he's just got free run down the court. You give that guy an inch and he's gone.
So Gary, you've played in events outside the wheelchair games. How often is it you see someone with as much speed as McMillan has?
Not a lot, not as far as quads. He's one of the faster quads that I've seen on the floor. He's a quadruple amputee. That gives him a slight advantage because he has full upper body and arms, triceps, but he's missing his limbs, but he compensates so very well.
Probably one of the few situations where you're given an advantage being a quad amputee, but McMillan using it to his advantage here as Bostic makes a nice move there on Lonnie Evans. He's got Butler ahead, and Butler will get it, scoring. 16-10 is the score now. So you have 6:03 left here in the second quarter of action. Red is controlled and been leading this game for its entirety. As Evans will get it into McMillan. Bostic gets a hit on him.
Boy, he's just so fast at the recovery. Even when he drops the ball, he can get it up there. McMillan can. And then he's down the court. He's just a streak of lightning.
And he's got that speed. And even though he's small in size, he's not at all afraid to stick his nose in there and make some contact. As Bostic's looking for a teammate. He's got Butler ahead again as McMillan gets a big hit on him. Butler's got it. Evans is giving chase. And Butler will make it in there. 17-11 is the score. It's
They
Bostic.
also have what's called an equipment timeout. Anytime, say for like the axle on Bostic's chair came loose, you can call an equipment timeout, and the referees will give you that time to adjust yourself within a reasonable amount of time on the floor. Then you have to take it off the floor and get it repaired if it takes too long. Many of these people travel with carrying cases with 8 to 10 sets of wheels, just for that reason.
And speaking of that, you know, I've noticed as Bostic was getting a little repairs there, his wheels are much larger than some of the other players. What are some of the advantages and disadvantages of having larger compared to smaller wheels?
Well, you have your push stroke is so much longer, and you tend to gain speed much quicker and with less energy pushing. So the smaller the wheel, the quicker the rotation, but not as much speed. It's like on a bicycle, your high-low gears.
About 5 minutes left here in the second quarter. 18-11 is the score. The red team on top. McGuire's been out for some time now. I'd imagine he'll be checking himself in soon. He kind of acts as not only one of the better players on the team, but also kind of as a player-coach role for the yellow team. As Evans and Butler locked up, gives McMillan time to get back.
Oh, there he goes.
Butler just in time, gets it to Bostic, a nice play by Butler.
Bostic is so much taller and heavier than McMillan, and it doesn't seem to make too much difference between the two of them, which one's bigger or smaller. They seem to put a whack on each other just as hard.
As everyone's battling for it there. It's about 5 pairs of hands on that ball, and a jump ball will be called. Possession arrow is pointing to yellow.
What they're doing now is they've got Bostic in the key, which means, he's set up in the corner just for that play. That was a design play in the corner from the inbounder.
And they executed perfect. That was Jamel Williams with the pass as he's trying to lock up McMillan now, trying to strip him.
Got slapped on the arm. He's going to have to go to the penalty box for that one. So that's one of the big no-nos in rugby is reaching in and slapping. You either want to get your hand on the ball or don't even put your hands in there.
Another similarity there we noticed between basketball. You can get all ball, not going to be a foul call, but there he hacked him on the arm. Is a careless turnover for the red team there. This ball bounces off of Earl Richardson's hands. Earl Richardson, the one-pointer. His yellow's yelling for a substitution. McGuire wanted to get in.
There we go. Same play again.
The exact same play working there.
From the inbounder to the man sitting in the corner of the key.
So being short-handed is not affecting the yellow team thus far, but it will here. As McMillan will coast in.
McMillan on another breakaway. This is pretty typical of his style, isn't it, Ben?
Yeah, and both this game and the last game, a lot of times he's up there with no one in front of him. He's been just coasting in the easy goals. Other times I've seen him kind of just like circling around, being patient, waiting for that small gap because he has so much speed and he's a lot smaller and he can squeeze through those small gaps. As they will take a timeout.
30-second timeout.
4:15 left here in the second quarter.
And these timeouts are great. It gives you a little wind. It gives you time to get a little bit of water in you, because you dehydrate. Quads have a tendency not to be able to sweat due to their level of injuries. If their spinal cord injury, they're not able to sweat and they keep their body heat in. So you have to be extremely careful that they don't go into heat stroke and keep well hydrated.
So Yellow talking over some strategy here. Had a nice and play set up lately between Williams and Bostic. Williams sending in some nice inbounds, getting right to Bostic, right in front of the goal lines, be able to inch his way across. To score, you only need to get 2 wheels across the line.
Doesn't matter whether you go in sideways, backwards, or forward. Just as long as you get those 2 wheels across.
And of course, having complete possession of the ball. As McGuire will check back in. Alongside him will be Pat McQuinn, number 3, number 4, Jamel Williams, and Robert Schuler, number 13, the lone novice on the yellow squad, as Bostic takes a seat on the bench.
Red has a little bit weaker team in there right now compared to yellow. Due to the substitutions and maybe having to bring in. That's too bad. They had it going.
Tim Vixay joining the red team. He's the Reds' lone novice. Alongside him will be Richardson and Evans.
There, they threw it in and bounced off a wheel. Bad pass, bad pass. There's another one. You gotta hit. The inbounder is throwing down by the wheels. It's very hard for anybody to catch a ball, especially a quad down by the lower bottom of your chair.
We got Williams. Williams in the same situation as he was before. Now it's McGuire in there instead of Bostic, and they'll try to do the same thing.
But they had him pinned in this time. They had him there. That was a good back and front pick on him.
So what was the call on that, Gary? Ball's awarded to the red team. McMillan saying send it ahead.
McMillan looks like he's getting a little frustrated with the inbounder. That's 3 of them that have come down and hit him in the wheel.
Is Evans trying to get into McMillan? He's saying, easy, easy, I got it. Just give it to me.
There we go. There's a better inbound. It was a bounce pass.
You know, anytime McMillan has the ball, he is quite the threat. He turns on a dime there. Is he looking for the sideline? McGuire's in pursuit.
He's gone. He's gone.
You see him take that dribble.
Oh, we got a man down.
Big hit there by Richardson. McGuire goes down.
And that's...
So the goal will not count. And Richardson
we had a
will...
spin there. That's why spins are so dangerous.
A big hit there. McGuire takes a dribble. Once you have possession, you have 10 seconds to either pass it or take a dribble. And he's got McQuinn ahead.
Now he's looking, yellow's looking for the pick and roll. And there we, oh, they had somebody set up in the key, ready to go, ready for the pass. It was a breakaway. And it was just a little bit fired too hard for. And this is not just a game for men. We have quite a few women that do play throughout the world.
And no one on the yellow team can quite match McMillan's speed. So while early on, Red had a few other players getting some goals, Miller and Kemery, but since then it's been all McMillan. 3:08 left to play here in the second quarter. McGuire trying to get on silent. Richardson bottles him up. He's got Williams ahead. McMillan's giving pursuit though. And the ball will roll out of bounds.
Some of the difference between these chairs, Ben, is the elongated, the lower points have elongated front ends on their chair, where the high pointers have more of a shielded, rounded guards on their chairs. And for the low pointers with the extended front ends, they use that for grabbing or picking a chair and holding it, so the high pointers can get loose and run.
McMillan's going. Schuler's not going to get him. 21-14 the score. I'd imagine Bostic will be checking in soon for the yellow team.
And it looks like Reds kind of waiting to bring in their starting lineup and letting them have quite a long breather on this game, trying to conserve a little bit of energy, and they still seem to be taking over.
As McGuire gets trapped in the corner, he's forced to call a timeout, and with some of Red's better players out of the game, Chet Miller and Todd Camery, they've still been able to get things going, extending their lead now to 7, which I believe is their largest of the game. So yellow kind of take a timeout just to save itself, not really using it to talk over some strategy. As out on the floor, they have McQuinn, Schuler, Sorensen, and Stephen McGuire. Red team will also send out the same 4. Dixie, Evans, Richardson, and of course, Delvin McMillan.
Oh, that's not a good pass on the top of their very low pointer.
Sorensen, a 1.5 pointer, unable to control that one.
Well, they're trying to keep Bostic out of it. Not Bostic, excuse me, McGuire. And so they've opted to let him start inbounding, and maybe a give and go.
They try it there. They get it to McQuinn. McQuinn trying to get it back to McGuire, goes over, but goes to Sorensen. Unable to get it, and that's trouble because McMillan has it.
Oh, we have a timeout. We had a man go over the back of his chair, and that can be another extremely dangerous position to be in, because many of our spinal cord injuries have what's called rods in their back to keep their spines fused. And when they get flipped over backwards like that, there's a good chance of popping those rods.
So while this game is very physical, referees still have the player's safety in mind and will stop the game at wherever, whenever, if someone has fallen or if there's an equipment malfunction, as we saw there with Vixay. Which is good. This is a competitive game. We want to keep the athletes safe. As McQuinn gets into Sorensen, once again he's unable to handle that pass. And yellow might have to look for other options of how to inbound the ball. Saw Sorensen there, number 11 on yellow. This is his 21st time participating in these games. 61-year-old Army veteran out of Wisconsin, as the ball goes out of bounds. Sorensen, number 11, won the Spirit of the Games award at last year's games in Omaha, Nebraska. And Gary, you'll know something about that, as you were the winner in 2004. Explain for our audience what exactly the Spirit of the Games award is.
Spirit of the Games award is at the very end of the competition. Peers of the game take a vote on who they believe is a representative of good sportsmanship, athletic ability, and just good camaraderie. And it's one of the highest presentations that can be given. And for myself, it was the highlight of my 21 years of playing on the Veterans Wheelchair Games. It was totally unexpected, and everybody that gets the award says there's so many other people just like myself who could have gotten this award just as easy as I have.
That honor went to Gus Sorensen last year, and McGuire will get some score for yellow. It's been a while since they've gotten on the scoreboard. 22-15 is the score now. We're in the second quarter of action here. So we're approaching halftime. Red has led for the entirety of this game.
And they've done it with relative ease without having their top lineup in there.
Well, McMillan can certainly do quite a bit on his own as he scored the majority of Red's goals.
Well, that's the way it normally goes, Ben. It's the big guys with the good hands that are usually the scorers. The low pointers are not expected to be scorers. Their jobs are just to pick and roll, and a lot of times you may get the good fortunate, like I did yesterday, to make one goal. And that's at the time that I got thrown out of my chair for the first time. So it was quite a...
The real question was it worth it?
Absolutely. Absolutely. To get that goal.
But certainly low pointers are a very integral part of this game. Might not get the glitz and the glamour, but with 8 points being the maximum a team can have on there, low pointers are very valuable. And the more experience, the makes it better. Being able to set screens, give and goes.
30 seconds left in the half.
Oh, we're almost done with the half.
30 seconds left. 9-point lead. Give and go there between Sorensen and McGuire.
And sometimes it only takes maybe 3 seconds to get down that court.
Now McMillan, he might...
This time, we got our hands on.
McMillan is not happy.
Now they have a very good chance of scoring. It's going to be a 4-on-3, 3-on-4.
McMillan is not happy about that call, but McMillan, you know, mentioning the quad amputee, he might be small, but he is not afraid to make contact. And you know, it's usually him with smaller that ends up with one of his wheels up in the air.
I think he's probably just going to run, yellow's just going to run out the clock on this one.
So with that, McMillan, there, and you saw McGuire before he wanted to score, he wanted to make sure people were ready for McMillan as he knew he was about to check in. As he intercepts that one, time is winding down.
No, he doesn't.
So with that, the end of the first half, 24-16 is the score. The red team on top. We're going to take a quick break here, and then we'll be back for the third and fourth quarter of this quad rugby match. I want to thank you for joining myself and Gary Pearson here on xable.com, and we will be right back.